Ladies, let me talk to you straight, because I know this one's going to hit home. One of the quickest ways to kill your value in front of a man is when you start lowering your standards just to keep him around. See, men watch. We watch everything, not just how you dress or how you look. We watch how you carry yourself. We watch what you allow. We watch what you let slide. And when a woman starts dropping her standards, that's when a man starts losing respect. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Steve, I love him. I don't want to lose him. I get it. You're thinking with your heart. You're thinking if you give a little, bend a little, make some adjustments, he'll notice the effort and appreciate it. But let me tell you something from a man's point of view. We don't work like that. When you drop your expectations for us, we don't see it as love. We see it as weakness. A man values what he has to work for. It's just the truth. It's in our nature. If it comes too easy, we don't respect it. If you start accepting behavior that goes against what you believe in just to avoid an argument or to stop him from leaving, you're sending a message loud and clear. I don't think I'm enough to keep you unless I change who I am. I've seen so many women doing this. You come into the relationship knowing what you want. You know you're not okay with a man who lies, who disappears for days, who flirts with other women, who doesn't call when he says he will, but then he does one or two of those things, and instead of holding firm, you make an excuse. Oh, he's busy. Maybe he just forgot. Well, he's not used to communicating. Come on now. You're not his life coach. You're his woman. Or at least you're trying to be. You're not here to teach a grown man the basics of respect and consistency. When you lower your standards, you're telling that man, you don't have to rise to meet me. I'll come down to meet you. And guess what? Once you come down, he's going to expect you to stay there. You think he's going to climb back up with you later? No. He's already figured out where the line is and that you'll keep moving it. Let me give you a real life example. I knew this woman, sharp as a tack, educated, independent, gorgeous. She started dating this guy and she told me, Steve, I told him from day one, I don't do last minute plans. I like a man who communicates, who plans things ahead. I said, good. You set the tone. 2 months later, she's calling me saying, well, he hit me up at 9 p.m. and asked if I wanted to hang out. I said, yes, because I hadn't seen him all week. I said, wait a minute. What happened to not doing last minute plans? She said, yeah, but I miss him and he's been working a lot. That's it. Right there. The line moved. And when that line moves once, it keeps moving. That man now knows he can make her wait, put her on the back burner, and she'll still be there when he's ready. She went from being a queen to being an option. Ladies, hear me. A man is only going to treat you at the level you require. If you want to be treated like a queen, you've got to act like one. And queens don't lower their crowns to fit a man's comfort. A real man, the kind of man who's worth your time, isn't intimidated by your standards. He's inspired by them. A real man sees a woman who knows what she wants and says, damn, I better step my game up if I want to be with her. But when you start compromising everything you believe in just to keep the peace, to avoid being alone, or to make him happy, you become forgettable. You become just another woman who gave in. And let me say this too. If a man leaves because you refuse to lower your standards, let him go. You didn't lose anything. You dodged a bullet. Because that man was never going to meet you at your level anyway. He was always going to try to drag you down to his. And what happens when you stay down there too long? You forget who you were before you met him. You forget that you had dreams. boundaries, self-respect. Don't let that happen. Respect, strength. Not loud strength, not attitude, but the quiet, confident kind. The kind that doesn't chase, doesn't beg, and doesn't settle. The kind that says, I'd rather be alone than be disrespected. That's power. That's what keeps a man on his toes. That's what makes him say, I can't play with her. I gotta be real. So remember, your standards aren't just rules, they're reflections of your worth. And if a man can't meet them, he's not the one. It's not your job to lower yourself to keep someone. It's his job to rise if he wants to stay. A lot of women don't realize they're doing. And it's one of the biggest mistakes you can make early on in a relationship, overgiving. Giving too much of yourself, your time, your energy, your love, your body, your money, too soon. And you do it thinking it's going to win him over. You do it because you think if I show him how amazing I am, how much I care, how loyal and helpful I can be, he'll see that I'm the one. But I'm here to tell you, it don't work like that. See, men are wired a little differently. What comes too easy, we take it for granted. That's just the truth. When you start doing wife things before you even have a title, you're setting yourself up to be undervalued. You're putting everything on the table when he hasn't even ordered the meal yet. And now he's sitting there full, satisfied, and thinking, why buy the cow when I'm getting the milk for free? I'm not just talking about physical stuff. Yes, sex is part of it, but it goes way deeper than that. I'm talking about when you start rearranging your schedule for him, cooking for him all the time, doing his laundry, driving across town at midnight because he said he had a bad day, you loaning him money, running errands, helping him build his dreams while yours are sitting on the shelf. All in the name of love. You're doing the most and he's doing the minimum. Here's what's really going on in his head. I haven't even had to prove myself yet and she's already all in. And once he knows that, once he knows he doesn't have to put in effort to get your all, that's when the chase is over. And when the chase ends too early, so does the value. A man wants to feel like he earned his spot in your life. We want to feel like we work for something meaningful. That's how we value it. But if you're giving me everything I want without me having to do a damn thing, what reason do I have to respect you, to invest, to commit? Let me give you an example. I knew this woman, beautiful, successful, sweet as can be. She met this guy, and within a couple of weeks, she was at his place cooking dinner 3 nights a week, helping him fix his resume, driving his mama to her appointments. I said, baby, slow down. You just met this man. She said, yeah, but he's going through a lot, and I want to show him I'm serious. Because the truth was, he wasn't doing none of that for her. He wasn't showing up for her. He wasn't investing. But because she gave so much so early, he never felt like he had to. Let me ask you something. Why do you think companies make you go through interviews, training, a probation period? Because value is determined by investment. You don't get access to full benefits until you've proven yourself. Relationships are no different. When you give away the benefits before a man's proven his worth, you devalue yourself. You're setting up a dynamic where you're always giving and he's always receiving. Now, I'm not saying don't be kind. I'm not saying don't show interest. I'm not even saying don't do nice things. But it has to be earned. A man needs to qualify for your effort, your love, your nurturing, your support. Those are powerful, beautiful things. But they should be reserved for the man who's earned them, not just the man who shows up and says a few sweet words. It's about pacing. Give a little, see what he gives back. Then give a little more. That's how you build something balanced. A man needs to see that you know your worth. That you're not out here handing out queen-level treatment to everybody with a nice smile, because when you give too much too soon, what you're really saying is, I need to prove I'm good enough for you. But a woman who knows her value doesn't have to prove anything. She lets her presence speak. She lets a man rise to her level. And don't fall for that nonsense where he tells you, I love how nurturing you are. I need a woman like you in my life. Because if he's not matching your energy, your effort, your investment, it's manipulation. He's enjoying the perks without paying the price. So take a step back. Ask yourself, am I giving because I want to, or am I giving because I'm hoping he'll stay? That's a powerful question. Because if your giving is based on fear of losing him, fear of being alone, fear of not being chosen, then you're not giving, you're bargaining. And real love isn't a bargain. It's an exchange. You are the prize. Say that to yourself until you believe it. And when you know you're the prize, you stop trying to buy love with effort. You let the right man earn his way into your life. And you stop giving everything to the wrong one just to feel needed. Ladies, let me tell you something that a lot of y'all do. Not because you're foolish, but because you've got a good heart. You see potential in people. You believe in second chances. And you want love so badly, you're willing to give it room to grow. But in doing all that, you ignore the one thing that could save you a whole lot of time, energy, and pain, the red flags. Now hear me. Red flags don't show up after 3 years. They don't show up once you've moved in together or had a child. No, red flags show up early. They show up in the little things, in the way he talks to you, in the way he handles conflict, in the way he disappears and comes back like nothing happened. But what happens, you see it, and then you talk yourself out of it. You give it a cute little excuse. He's just been through a lot. He's not used to being with a woman like me. He needs time to grow. Baby, growth is his responsibility. Your job is to protect your peace. Let me be clear. Men know exactly what they're doing. He knows when he's giving you mixed signals. He knows when he's not showing up for you. He knows when he's disrespecting your boundaries. You think he does it? Oh, he does. But when you ignore the red flags, he learns something else. You're not going to do anything about it. And once he knows that, the behavior continues. Now you're stuck in a cycle. He messes up, you forgive. He disappears, you welcome him back. He disrespects you, and you say, well, nobody's perfect. I knew this woman, bright, successful, beautiful. She met this guy who was charming, charismatic, said all the right things. But by the 3rd week, she told me, Steve, he doesn't really call when he says he will. Sometimes I don't hear from him for 2 or 3 days, and then he'll text like nothing's wrong. I said, that's a red flag. She said, yeah, but he told me he's been hurt before. He has trust issues. I said, and now he's hurting you. But she wanted to believe in the potential. She wanted to see who he could be instead of who he was. A few months later, she finds out he's talking to other women, juggling multiple situations, and giving her just enough to keep her holding on. And by then, she was too deep in, emotionally invested. Now, walking away felt like a loss. Let me tell you something. Potential will fool you. Every man has potential, but potential is not a plan, it's not a commitment, and it sure ain't character. Don't fall in love with what a man could be if he just changed. Fall in love with what he is showing you right now, because what he's showing you early on, that's the real him. The rest, that's just your imagination dressed up as hope. When a man shows you he's inconsistent, believe him. When a man makes excuses for every wrong thing he does instead of taking accountability, believe him. When a man gets defensive every time you express your feelings, believe him. Those are not quirks. Those are not personality differences. Those are signs, big waving red flags telling you this is not it. But here's the problem. You want to be the one who's different. You want to be the one who helps him change, the one he finally gets it right for. And I get it. That fairy tale sounds nice, but it's not real. Change doesn't come from pressure or love alone. It comes from within. A man will only change for himself when he's ready, not because you cooked for him, stayed loyal through the chaos, or loved him through the pain. And don't let loneliness be the reason you justify staying. Some of y'all are so afraid to start over, you settle for dysfunction. You think being with someone, anyone, is better than being alone. But let me tell you, there is nothing lonelier than being with someone who makes you feel unseen, unheard, and unworthy. That's not love. That's emotional starvation. The truth is, when you ignore red flags, you betray yourself. You abandon your own needs, your own peace, your own intuition. And that's dangerous. Because once you start silencing that inner voice, once you start making excuses for poor behavior, it becomes a pattern. You teach yourself to accept less. You teach yourself to question your standards instead of questioning his actions. So what do? You pay attention early. Don't fall so deep into a man's charm that you stop watching how he treats you. Don't be so hungry for love that you settle for crumbs. A man who wants you, really wants you, will respect you, show up for you, and make you feel safe. He won't leave you confused, anxious, or constantly questioning your worth. Pay attention to consistency. Pay attention to how he talks about other people. Pay attention to how he responds when he doesn't get his way. Pay attention to the way you feel after you hang up the phone. Are you smiling or are you anxious? Are you excited or are you drained? Red flags aren't always loud. Sometimes they're quiet. They come in subtle forms. Delayed responses, jokes that cut a little too deep, disappearing acts that you're supposed to be okay with, but if it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't. Don't gaslight yourself. Don't fall in love with the idea of him and ignore the reality of how he treats you. You deserve more than potential. You deserve peace, consistency, and love that doesn't confuse you. And the moment you stop ignoring red flags is the moment you start honoring your worth. And let me tell you something, ladies, and I need you to hear me on this. One of the things that will kill your value in front of a man real fast is not knowing your purpose. And I'm not just talking about your job title or your career goals. I'm talking about knowing who you are, what you stand for, what your life is about beyond a relationship. Because when you don't know your purpose, you become a reflection of whoever you're with instead of a woman standing firm in her own life. And let me tell you, Men notice that. See, a man can tell when a woman doesn't really know who she is, or she's just floating, just existing, just waiting for someone to come along and give her direction. And when a man sees that, he knows he can shape that woman into whatever fits his world, not necessarily what's best for her. That's how you end up doing things that don't align with your spirit. That's how you wake up one day, years down the line, feeling empty and wondering how you got so far away from who you used to be. Ladies, your purpose is your anchor. It's what keeps you steady no matter who walks into your life or who walks out. It's what makes a man stop in his tracks and say, now that's a woman I can't play with. Because she's not desperate. She's not out here trying to be chosen. She already chose herself. That kind of woman has power. That kind of woman can be manipulated. And you better believe a man knows the difference. I've seen so many good women lose themselves in a relationship because they didn't have a clear identity outside of it. They get with a man and suddenly all their energy is going into supporting his dreams, fixing his problems, showing up for him. But when you ask her what she wants for her own life, she pauses, she hesitates, she's unsure. That's a problem. Because let me tell you, no real man wants a woman who abandons herself for him. A man with substance wants a partner, not a shadow. You've got to have something that drives you outside of love. You've got to have something that gets you out of bed in the morning. That has nothing to do with a man's attention or approval. Maybe it's your business. Maybe it's your art. Maybe it's mentoring young girls or leading in your community or building something with your name on it. Whatever it is, find it and own it. Because when you walk in purpose, you walk differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself in a way that says, I'm not just here to be somebody's woman. I'm here to fulfill a mission. And here's the thing, when you know your purpose, you attract differently. You attract men who respect your grind, not just your looks. You attract men who want to build with you, not just sleep with you. You attract men who understand that you come with vision, with direction, and they know they have to bring something real to the table if they want to sit with you. But when you don't know your purpose, you attract distractions. You attract confusion. You attract men who see you as easy to control, easy to manipulate, easy to discard. Because they don't see a woman, they see a placeholder. Someone to fill a space until they find someone who does know where she's going. And that hurts, I know, but it's the truth. Your purpose is your protection. It keeps the wrong men away because the wrong man can't operate in the space where purpose is present. I'll never forget this one woman I met backstage after one of my shows. She said, Steve, I keep dating these men who use me, cheat on me, and leave me broken. What's wrong with me? And I asked her, what do you want out of life? She said, I just want to be loved. I said, that's the problem. Love can't be your only goal, because if love is the only thing you're chasing, you'll accept it in any form, even if it comes with pain, disrespect, and lies. You need a bigger purpose. You see, purpose gives you standards. It gives you focus. It gives you the ability to say no to anything and anyone that doesn't align with your future. And that's when your value goes up. Not because you're perfect, not because you got it all figured out, but because you're moving in intention. You're not waiting for a man to give you a reason to wake up. You are the reason. So stop waiting for someone to validate your life. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's world. Build your own. Know what you stand for, what you dream about, and what legacy you want to leave. And don't let love distract you from it. Let it enhance it. The right man will find your purpose beautiful. The wrong man will find it intimidating. But either way, don't dim your light. Keep walking in your purpose, and the man who belongs in your life will recognize your value. Not because you told him, but because your life showed him.